Why do Japanese elders, who live some of the longest lives on Earth, rarely drown in clutter, even though they carry decades of memories? Their homes often feel calm, open, and deeply meaningful, even when those spaces are small. The secret isn't just minimalism. It's the quiet rituals they use when it's time to say goodbye to belongings. Each ritual carries respect, gratitude, and closure, turning what could feel like loss into something almost sacred. Think about your own home for a moment. How many items sit untouched, yet hold you back with guilt, memories, or hesitation? Japanese elders show us that releasing things doesn't have to mean erasing the past. Instead, it can become a healing act that honors the life you've lived. Their approach proves that letting go is not about emptiness, it's about creating space for peace, light, and renewal. And here's what makes it powerful. These rituals can be practiced anywhere, even right here in America. They are simple, meaningful, and designed to help you feel lighter without losing what matters most. Imagine saying goodbye to an old sweater, a photo frame, or a set of dishes, not with regret, but with gratitude. That's the gift these rituals bring. If you want your golden years to feel freer, calmer, and filled with dignity, this message is for you. And before we dive into these 10 beautiful rituals, take a moment to hit like and subscribe to Wise Aging Seniors, because the next chapter of your life deserves nothing less than peace and joy. Meet Etsuko Mori, a 71-year-old retired schoolteacher from Kyoto, Japan. She spent her career guiding children through lessons in reading, writing, and character, and now she finds herself teaching something far more personal: how to live with peace in the later years of life. Her home is modest, no larger than many apartments in the United States, yet when you step inside, it feels almost weightless. The walls are not bare, the shelves are not empty, and her life has not been stripped of memory. Instead, her space feels open and calm because she has learned the art of release. She treats every object with respect, and when its season ends, she lets it go with dignity rather than guilt. Etsuko explains her philosophy gently: objects are like chapters. To move forward, we must sometimes close the page with care. She believes that just as we cannot stay in childhood forever, we also cannot hold every belonging forever. Some items are meant to serve us for a time, then step aside so that our lives can breathe again. This wisdom has guided her family, her friends, and even her neighbors, who often ask how she manages to hold on to joy without being surrounded by clutter. Her rituals are not strict rules but meaningful practices, little acts of gratitude, reflection, and mindfulness. Through them, she has built a home that feels safe, loving, and alive. And now, her way of living offers a blueprint for seniors everywhere who long for freedom, peace, and dignity in their golden years. Ritual 1. The Candlelight Goodbye. For Etsuko Mori, the act of parting with a belonging is never rushed or thoughtless. She believes that even the simplest object, a chipped teacup, a scarf worn during many winters, or a book once read and loved, deserves a moment of gratitude before it leaves her home. That is why she practices what she calls the Candlelight Goodbye. Whenever she chooses to let go of something, she waits until the evening, when the home is quiet, the pace of life slows, and her mind feels clear. She places the object on a small table, lights a candle, and lets the soft glow fill the room. For a few minutes, she sits in silence, remembering the role that item once played. Then she whispers words of thanks: "You kept me warm. You helped me share a story. You made my family smile." And only after giving gratitude does she release it. This ritual does more than clear space on a shelf. It transforms decluttering into a moment of closure, not loss. The candlelight reminds her that life itself is like a flame, bright for a time, then fading, yet still meaningful. Objects, like memories, serve us for a season. By honoring them, we recognize their value without clinging to them forever. The act is gentle, reflective, and deeply healing. Instead of feeling guilt for letting something go, Etsuko feels peace because she has said goodbye with respect. For seniors in the United States, this practice can be just as powerful. It doesn't require anything elaborate, only a candle, a small space, and a willingness to pause. Picture yourself lighting a tea light in your living room. Maybe you hold your late spouse's glasses, a dress you haven't worn in decades, or a stack of greeting cards tucked away in a drawer. With the candle's glow, you allow yourself to say, "Thank you for being part of my story." In that simple act, you let go without regret. This ritual can be especially comforting during the golden years, when possessions tend to carry layers of history and emotion. It turns decluttering into something sacred, an intentional choice to honor your past while making space for the future. Each candle you light is not only a farewell to an object but a blessing for yourself, a way of clearing emotional weight so you can feel freer and lighter in the years ahead. If you tried this tonight, what item would you say goodbye to first? Share it in the comments below. Your story may encourage someone else to begin their own candlelight goodbye. Ritual 2. The Folding of Farewell. For Etsuko Mori, even something as ordinary as clothing deserves to be treated with reverence when it leaves her home. She doesn't simply toss garments into a bag or box. Instead, she folds them carefully, smoothing the fabric with her hands as though she were tucking in a child one last time. Each fold is deliberate, each motion filled with tenderness. She pauses to remember the seasons when the garment was worn, the moments it witnessed, and the comfort it once gave. In this way, the act of folding becomes a ritual of gratitude, a final embrace before letting go. The folding of farewell teaches us that our clothing is more than fabric. It holds stories, milestones, and pieces of who we once were. A dress might remind us of a wedding, a uniform of years of service, or a sweater of cold evenings spent with family. By folding them gently, we acknowledge their place in our journey before passing them on. Instead of shoving them away in haste, this ritual helps transform parting into something calm, respectful, and healing. For seniors in the United States, this practice can be especially meaningful. Many wardrobes hold garments that carry decades of memory: church dresses worn on Sundays, a son or daughter's graduation shirt carefully saved, or the sweater of a spouse who has passed away. These items may no longer serve a daily purpose, but the memories they hold make them difficult to release. By folding them with care, you allow yourself to recognize their value while also granting yourself permission to move forward. This ritual doesn't mean erasing the past. Instead, it creates a respectful bridge between memory and release. The garment is not discarded carelessly, it is honored, thanked, and prepared for its next purpose, whether that is donation, passing it to a loved one, or simply letting it go. In this way, the folding of farewell can lift the weight of guilt and replace it with peace. Do you still keep clothes because of the memories stitched inside them? Share below. Your story may inspire another senior to release with grace. Ritual 3. The One-Song Send-Off. In Japan, many elders believe that music carries memory in a way that no physical object can. This belief gave birth to the ritual known as the One-Song Send-Off. When an elder decides it is time to part with something, they do not simply toss it aside. Instead, they choose a song that connects them to the season of life when the object mattered most. They hold the item gently, sit in a quiet room, and allow the music to play. As the melody fills the space, emotions and memories surface. Moments once lived return, not because of the object itself, but because of the music that carried those times forward. By the time the song fades, the memory has been honored, and the object is ready to be released with peace. This ritual works because music unlocks memory in a way that feels immediate and alive. A single tune can take us back 50 years in an instant. A love song can bring back the sweetness of a first dance. A hymn can stir the comfort of Sundays spent in church. A Motown beat can make us remember the laughter of friends at gatherings. Through this practice, Japanese elders teach us that memories are not lost when items leave our hands. They live on in melodies that can be played again and again. For seniors in the United States, this ritual can feel especially powerful. Imagine holding your husband's old hat while listening to Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis. Picture sitting with a faded set of recipe cards while the radio plays Stand By Me. Or maybe it's holding your mother's quilt while Amazing Grace plays softly in the background. In that moment, the song becomes the vessel for the memory, freeing the object itself. You no longer need to keep every belonging to remember your story, you can let the song keep it for you. This ritual is not just about decluttering, it is about creating freedom. It replaces the weight of storage boxes and crowded closets with something lighter and more meaningful, a playlist of your life. Every song you choose becomes a key to unlock your memories whenever you want, without the burden of holding on to things you no longer need. What song would you choose for your first one-song send-off? Share it in the comments below. Your song may not only honor your memory but also inspire another senior to release something with courage and grace. Ritual 4. The Tea Ceremony of Release. In Japan, tea is more than a drink. It is a practice of mindfulness, respect, and connection. Elders often extend this tradition into the way they part with belongings, creating what is known as the tea ceremony of release. Instead of discarding an item quickly, they place it on a small table beside them while preparing a warm cup of tea. As the steam rises and the first sip is taken, they take a moment to reflect on the object's place in their life. It may have been something useful, something beautiful, or something that once brought comfort. By sitting in stillness, the act of letting go becomes intentional rather than rushed. The ritual is powerful because it reframes decluttering as a ceremony of gratitude. Tea slows the moment down. It turns what could have been a hurried decision into a pause filled with thought and care. Elders look at the belonging, acknowledge what it gave them, and let the quiet presence of tea guide them into acceptance. In that silence, they find closure. The item is no longer just being thrown away. It is being honored before its release. For seniors in the United States, this ritual can be easily adopted. You don't need a formal tea set or a traditional ceremony. You can simply pour a cup of tea, or even coffee, if that feels more natural, and sit with the item you are preparing to part with. Place it on the table in front of you, allow yourself a few sips, and in that time, think about the moments connected to it. Perhaps it's a cookbook that fed your family for years, a mug that was part of your morning routine, or a notebook filled with half-finished thoughts. As you finish your drink, you signal to yourself that the chapter has closed. This practice is especially meaningful because it blends ritual with everyday life. Tea and coffee are already part of many daily routines, so this doesn't feel foreign. It feels familiar, comforting, and doable. Instead of decluttering feeling like a cold goodbye, it becomes a gentle release, softened by the warmth of your cup. Imagine how freeing it would feel to build a ritual around every small farewell. One cup of tea, one memory honored, one belonging released. Over time, your home becomes lighter, your spirit calmer, and your life filled with space for what truly matters. If you were to sit down with a cup of tea today, what item would you place beside you for release? Share it in the comments. You may find that your ritual inspires someone else to begin their own tea ceremony of release. Ritual 5. The Empty Shelf Pause. In Japanese culture, there is a deep respect for ma, the concept of sacred emptiness. It is the belief that empty space is not wasted but alive with possibility. Many elders apply this principle to their homes through what is known as the empty shelf pause. Instead of immediately discarding everything or filling every space, they deliberately leave one shelf, drawer, or small corner completely empty for several months. This emptiness is not seen as a void but as a place of rest, an intentional pause that brings calm. The purpose of this ritual is to test the necessity of what was once stored there. If the absence of those items does not disrupt daily life, then the elders know they never truly needed them. Over time, this simple practice shifts the way they view possessions. It changes the feeling of panic at the thought of losing something into peace at the realization that life is still whole without it. The empty space becomes a reminder that not every corner needs to be filled, and not every memory needs to be attached to an object. For seniors in the United States, the empty shelf pause can be an eye-opening and liberating experience. Imagine clearing out a nightstand drawer, leaving it empty, and noticing how little you miss the things that used to be stuffed inside. Or picture an empty kitchen cabinet that once overflowed with mismatched cups and pans. Suddenly it becomes a space of calm, proof that you don't need as much as you once thought. That space, once cluttered, now serves as a gentle reminder that emptiness can also hold meaning. This ritual also provides an emotional cushion. Instead of the stress of throwing things away in one big sweep, you create a trial period. By letting the space remain empty for a time, you give yourself permission to release gently, without fear of regret. And as weeks pass, you begin to feel lighter, not only because your home is less crowded, but because your heart is less burdened. The empty shelf pause is not about loss. It is about learning to embrace space as a gift, as something beautiful in itself. In your golden years, this can be especially powerful. You no longer need every drawer overflowing to prove a life well lived. The openness is its own quiet testimony of freedom. If you were to try the empty shelf pause today, which shelf, drawer, or cabinet would you choose first? Share your answer in the comments. Your choice might inspire someone else to create their own sacred emptiness. Ritual 6. The Storytelling Farewell. In Japan, elders understand that objects are more than things, they are carriers of stories. Instead of quietly discarding them, many practice what is called the storytelling farewell. Before releasing an item, they gather a family member, a friend, or even a neighbor and share the memory tied to it. A simple apron becomes the story of countless meals prepared with love. A medal turns into the tale of courage, sacrifice, or hard work. A wedding photo becomes a doorway into the laughter, promises, and joys of years gone by. By telling these stories, the item's true value is passed on, and the object itself can be released without regret. This ritual transforms clutter into connection. What was once a silent belonging suddenly becomes a bridge between generations. Grandchildren who might never know the meaning behind a quilt, a piece of jewelry, or a faded letter are given the gift of history through words. The object no longer has to remain in storage because its essence lives on in memory. The story is preserved, even if the item itself is gone. For seniors in the United States, this ritual can be especially healing. Many hold on to belongings because they fear that by letting go, the memory will vanish. But when the story is shared aloud, it leaves an imprint in the hearts of others. Imagine sitting at the kitchen table with your granddaughter, showing her an old mixing spoon and telling her how it stirred the first cake you baked for her father. Or picture handing a grandson an old fishing lure, explaining the peaceful mornings spent by the river. The object becomes a teaching tool, a spark of connection, rather than a piece of clutter hidden away in a box. The storytelling farewell also eases the burden of parting. Once the memory has been told, there is less guilt in letting the item go. Instead of clinging to the physical object, you have transferred its meaning into a living memory that can be retold for years to come. This creates not only peace for you but also a legacy for your family. What story-filled item would you share first if you tried this ritual today? Share your answer in the comments below. Your memory may inspire another senior to discover the beauty of letting go through storytelling. Ritual 7. The Morning Window Ritual. In Japanese tradition, mornings are seen as moments of renewal, a time when light washes away the shadows of the night and gives us permission to begin again. Many elders draw on this symbolism when they practice what is called the morning window ritual. Instead of releasing an item in haste, they place it gently on a windowsill or near an open window in the early morning. As the sunlight touches the object, it is bathed in warmth and clarity. For the elder, this simple act becomes a powerful symbol. The light represents fresh beginnings, and the object is given a moment of honor before being let go. This ritual is not just about discarding something, it is about reframing parting as a hopeful act. By placing the item in the morning light, elders remind themselves that life moves forward, that every day carries its own promise. The release is no longer tied to sadness but to renewal. The object has served its purpose, and now, in the glow of a new day, it is free to move on. For seniors in the United States, this ritual can be deeply meaningful. Imagine waking up early, making your morning coffee, and placing an old vase, a faded sweater, or a pair of unused shoes by the window. You take a few moments to watch the sunlight spill across it, to remember the role it once played in your life. Then, with a calmer heart, you release it, whether by donation, recycling, or simply discarding it. The act is not rushed. It is thoughtful, gentle, and filled with a sense of closure. This practice is especially powerful because morning light itself carries emotional weight. It can symbolize hope after loss, strength after difficulty, and the courage to keep moving forward. For seniors, who may often feel the pull of nostalgia and the heaviness of years, the morning window ritual offers a way to transform letting go into a moment of grace. It reframes the process of decluttering from something painful into something uplifting and restorative. If you had to let go of something tomorrow morning, what would it be? Share your answer in the comments below. Your words may inspire another senior to discover the hope hidden in the simple light of a new day. Ritual 8. The One Photo Practice. For many Japanese elders, the hardest part of letting go is not the object itself but the memory tied to it. That is why they practice what is known as the One Photo Practice. Instead of keeping every belonging, they take a single photograph of the item before releasing it. The image captures its presence, its shape, and the feelings attached to it, while freeing the home from physical clutter. This ritual provides a gentle balance between honoring the past and embracing the present. The memory is preserved, yet the weight of the object no longer lingers. The beauty of this practice is its simplicity. In a world where cameras are always within reach, one photo is enough to hold on to what matters. An elder might photograph a vase that once sat on their dining table, a coat that carried them through countless winters, or a set of dishes used during family celebrations. With the photo saved, they can look back whenever they want, without having to keep the physical item taking up space. In this way, the attachment is not broken, it is transformed. For seniors in the United States, the one photo practice can be both practical and deeply healing. Imagine snapping a picture of a trophy from your youth, a favorite chair that no longer fits your space, or a decoration that has served its time. That single image allows you to recall the joy, pride, or comfort it once gave, while still letting your home breathe. Over time, you may even create a digital album, a gallery of memories that takes no shelf space at all but remains available whenever you wish to revisit those moments. This ritual also brings relief to those who fear regret. Often, the thought of letting something go creates anxiety. What if I forget? But a photograph removes that fear. You can honor the object, carry its story, and still move forward unburdened. It is a reminder that memories do not live in things, they live in us, and sometimes a picture is enough to hold the key. If you were to begin this practice today, what is the first item you would photograph before letting go? Share it in the comments. Your choice might encourage another senior to find freedom through the simple gift of one photo. Ritual 9. The Seasonal Release. In Japan, elders often see life as a series of natural rhythms. Spring brings beginnings, summer brings energy, autumn invites reflection, and winter calls for rest. They carry this understanding into the way they part with belongings through a practice called the seasonal release. Rather than decluttering randomly or only when overwhelmed, they align letting go with the flow of the seasons. Each shift in nature becomes a gentle reminder that it is time to review, reflect, and release. In spring, an elder might clear out clothing no longer worn, seeing it as a way of starting fresh, just as blossoms push through the soil. In autumn, they may let go of papers, decorations, or household goods, treating it as a harvest of what no longer serves them. Winter might be the season to release items tied to the past year, opening space for renewal. By syncing their actions with nature, the process feels natural, not forced. Decluttering becomes less about loss and more about participating in the ongoing cycle of life. For seniors in the United States, this ritual can be especially meaningful. Imagine using Easter, Thanksgiving, or even your own birthday as a marker for release. Each holiday becomes not only a celebration but also a checkpoint, a chance to ask, what can I let go of to move into the next season lighter? A birthday, in particular, becomes more than candles and cake. It becomes a reminder to shed what no longer supports your journey, making space for the blessings of a new year. The seasonal release is powerful because it creates rhythm and predictability. Instead of decluttering feeling like an endless, overwhelming task, it becomes something woven into the year's fabric. You know the moment will come again, and with it, another opportunity to free your space and spirit. This consistency builds confidence and prevents clutter from quietly accumulating. Letting go in harmony with nature also strengthens emotional connection. Just as leaves fall in autumn to make way for new growth in spring, your own act of release becomes a sign of renewal. It affirms that life is not about holding tightly to everything but about flowing with time. If you were to choose a season or milestone to begin this practice, which would you pick first? Share your answer in the comments. You may inspire another senior to find courage in the natural rhythm of letting go. Ritual 10. The Shrine of Completion. In Japan, elders understand that some belongings carry such deep meaning that they cannot be released in a single step. These are not ordinary objects but items woven into the fabric of life. Letters from a spouse, a treasured kimono, a tool that served faithfully for decades. For these belongings, they create what is known as the Shrine of Completion. Instead of rushing to discard them, elders place the items in a small, intentional space, a corner of a shelf, a tabletop, or even a simple photo altar. For a period of days or weeks, the object remains there, visible and honored. Each time they pass by, they acknowledge its place in their journey. Only after this period of reverence do they release it, not with guilt, but with peace. This ritual works because it allows time for emotional transition. By honoring the object temporarily, elders ease the sharpness of parting. The shrine becomes a bridge between holding on and letting go, ensuring that the release feels complete. Instead of the abruptness of decluttering, there is a sense of ceremony and closure. The object is not being discarded as worthless, it is being acknowledged as worthy before its farewell. For seniors in the United States, the Shrine of Completion can be deeply comforting. Imagine creating a memory table in your living room or bedroom. You might place your husband's old watch there, a quilt stitched by your mother, or a set of military medals. For 30 days, you allow those items to sit in the open, reminding you of their stories and the love they represent. When the time comes to release them, whether by donation, gifting, or storage, you do so with a lighter heart, knowing they were properly honored. This practice also teaches an important lesson. Letting go does not mean disrespect. It means giving yourself the freedom to move forward while showing gratitude for what came before. The shrine is not a place of sorrow, it is a place of closure, a way of saying, you mattered. You served your time. Now I am ready to continue my journey. If you were to create a shrine of completion today, what is the first item you would place there? Share your answer in the comments. Your example may help another senior discover the healing power of honoring before releasing. As we return to Etsuko Mori's home, what we see is not emptiness but balance. Her rooms are filled with light and calm, not because she erased her history, but because she chose to honor it. Every candle she lit, every fold she made, every story she told was a reminder that memories live within us, not within the clutter surrounding us. She has proven that letting go is not an act of loss, but of love. Love for the life already lived, love for the present she is creating, and love for the future she is still embracing. The deeper message of these rituals is simple yet profound. Your belongings are not the keepers of your life. They are companions along the way, meant to serve, to bring joy, and then, at the right time, to step aside. Holding on to everything does not preserve your story, it only weighs you down. By releasing with ritual, you create space for peace, dignity, and freedom in your golden years. For seniors in the United States, this truth carries special power. Many homes are filled with decades of possessions, each one carrying a piece of history, but together creating a weight that makes daily living harder. Etsuko's example reminds us that there is a gentler way forward. You can honor the things that mattered, you can cherish the memories, and still choose to let go. The rituals are not about discarding, they are about remembering with intention and releasing with grace. Imagine walking through your own home and feeling lighter, calmer, freer, not because you gave away everything, but because you chose to keep only what lifts you. Imagine no longer tripping over boxes of someday items, but instead stepping into open spaces that invite peace. That transformation is possible, and it begins with one ritual, one object, one intentional act of release. Your memories live in you, not in the clutter around you. Release with ritual, and your home becomes peace itself. If one of these rituals touched your heart, hit like, share this video with a friend over 60, and subscribe to Wise Aging Seniors, because your next chapter deserves to be lighter, freer, and more joyful.